be settled, you know. I got
All right, so you're gonna take
tons-
care of the truck?
I got tons of insurance, you know, if that's a problem, you
Okay.
know, and they think we've done it, you know, I don't think we've done it, but, you know, could have been anybody that walked by. That's the way I look at it, you know. But I'll gladly, if you bring me an estimate, I'll gladly give it to my insurance company. That's what I paid $20,000 a year for.
You don't think the scratch was caused by you on the desk?
I don't believe so, because one day we parked real close.
On the desk?
We're
On
talking,
the
Oh,
desk?
I don't, you know, it could have happened,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We didn't see it.
Is it a serious scratch? I mean,
I have to
is there
go back
anything
and
that could be
look at
buffed out or fixed or filled in
You know,
or?
it's
I
a
don't-
$300 desk to begin with, you know, it's one of these screw together erection
Yeah.
things, so it's nothing, nobody paid a lot of money for, but
I'll go back and look. I know it, Captain described it about 12 inches long. Whether it can be buffed out, I'm not sure. I don't know how deep it is.
You don't know how deep.
and what is this supposed to be?
And what about these screws?
That was
well,
just,
that's the only way of,
You
there's
can
two
fix those?
corners that were so crooked that the brackets wouldn't hold it, so we used stainless steel round-headed
That's-
screws.
Yep.
But what it is, it's a 2x3 angle iron. I don't know if you ever saw aluminum angle iron. And they give you these little clips, which is almost about as thick as that piece of paper in your hand.
Yeah,
And we have to push that in there and lock it. Well, if the wall is off, there's no way it'll stay on. It pops
Yeah.
right back out.
yeah.
And there's 50% of the time or more, we end up have to use the round
bottom.
headed
where
screws to solve the
the
problem.
board is.
Okay.
Was this supposed to be, is this the fixed? This what it's supposed to look like after it's fixed?
That's the mop board in the tile, in the bathrooms. It's not really, I'm not sure what type of adhesive was used, but it's not curing.
It's not curing.
That mop board, and my apologies, because this letter was written before that stuff was put on. But that's not curing, so you can take
Well, but-
and chip that stuff out
That
and
could-
peel it off.
That can happen to anybody, you know.
Mhm.
If you just put on the correct material, just,
Okay.
you know.
It's just,
Is this the way it's supposed to be, it's supposed to look like after it's fixed?
No, but, you know, if somebody don't tell me there's something wrong, I can't fix
Yeah,
it.
you're right, you're right.
You know, this is the first I hear that. I got a call from this girl, Lori, asked me to be here at 10 o'clock
Yep.
this morning.
You don't know that?
So you added this to the letter? I have to,
We
you have
got
a
two.
new thing?
yeah, that will be, yeah, that was put on after it generated the letter.
Okay.
Okay, so you
What
But
add,
I could say we got 2 10-minute fixes, you know.
As long as you can fix it, we'll be happy.
Okay.
What about that
Probably
piece?
fix it before I leave.
Okay. What about that piece that was cut too short and added on and it didn't seem to,
Now, that was, what it is on the bottom, the bottom of the wall kicks out, because it's where one of the anchors was from the precast. So we
Okay.
had to cut it in order to make it even fit. There's
okay.
a 6-inch piece on the bottom, kicks out down by the rubber base.
All right. Any way of covering that or
Well, there's 2 pieces, you know,
they just don't fit together?
butted right together, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know, there's a cut, you know, but they've been fitted back. It's like having a piece of molding, you know.
Yeah.
But it was so crooked that you couldn't, there was no way you could even get the rest of it even pulled in.
Okay. All right.
So-
Is that screwed in?
Didn't, I believe that's one that's,
Where, I'm sorry, where is it, Commissioner?
Well, I'm not sure what picture it was. I read that.
this one in the walls.
Wasn't there one there where it,
I know there's
Sank
one of
down.
them, there's a 6-inch piece, I remember that, you know.
Okay.
But that's on account of walls.
Walls crooked.
They got metal anchors down there that was welded in. them to hold them precast
Yep,
buildings to the foundation, well, they're
Yeah.
not.
okay. Okay, knowing what you know of that letter, what are you gonna be able to fix? Or what can you fix?
Fix it all, you know
You'll
what I
fix
mean?
it all?
You know, the screws, that's, you know, it's common practice, just, you know, it's nice
Yeah.
not to have to use them, but when you gotta use them, it's better
Yeah.
than having them fall off the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the rubber base, I don't know, see, when that was taken
I was just thinking today.
today,
Mhm.
it must be one they missed, because we painted, you know, all of that up beforehand, you know, before we put it on, so I'll check them both out. You know, if I don't know about it, I can't.
You're
fix
right,
something.
you're right. You're right. We're just showing those and
Right.
talking about what we felt
Yeah.
maybe could have been done better. You give us good reasons.
It's like up on the ceiling, we had to cut some, but every 3-foot lengths up above the ceiling, because it's just so crooked.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we use screws on 90%.
Would you say we got a cheap building? We got what we paid for?
Well, I don't know what you paid for, and I don't know, did you have a clerk of the works on the job?
No.
If you would have, you should have fired him before you got started.
Well, there was, and we did fire him.
Okay, well, you know,
I didn't fire him.
there's problems. I'm
Somebody
not
else did.
here, you know, somebody else's work, you
Yeah.
know, but there is,
Yeah,
I think you're gonna keep on having problems, even worse.
Yeah.
And because there's some things that should be addressed, you know, that building's doing this.
because of the heat and cold, right?
Well, that, and there's some structural problems, you
Yeah.
know, I will say that, you know, it should be a lot more addressing done before these little aluminum corners.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
fixing the ceiling,
Yeah.
because I think you're gonna have the same problem next year.
What you're saying is the work that you've done to repair this will be problem again?
I think so, yes. Because all we did was just facial things. We didn't do any structural.
No, that's right.
You know, we fixed up the damage that was shown
The
so far.
expansion and
what
contraction,
showed.
yeah.
But I think you're gonna have the same problem next year.
So you're,
And there's already some other corners, like if you, I don't know if they just missed them, overlooked them. There's 2 other corners in the bathroom. I showed them to him that
Yeah.
are really bad. So if it's not a thing that, you know, it's cosmetic what we did. We put a little makeup over things, basically
Yeah.
to make it look good.
Yeah,
But if the structural thing ain't tended to, the cosmic problem is gonna be there next year.
but the corner piece that you put up, the ceiling's not gonna fall in.
Well,
Some of the panels fell out, I understand.
Yeah, well, what we did is extended the track to repair it and pop rivet it together.
Right,
But as the wall moves out, it comes off. Now you've got another inch of expansion
Yeah.
to go, you know?
Yeah.
But what happened the first time, it just expanded out more than the 3/4 inch, the wall angle up there.
yeah,
They probably fell down, but you can see the movement in the building so
Yeah.
bad that it's worn the track,
yeah,
the paint off the track.
okay.
You know, there's one, like in, I don't know whose office, the little office with a corner. I think I either showed it to you or Joe, the metal anchors are ripped out of the concrete there, so that's a floating corner, which I think is a good start of the problem.
Okay.
But nothing, you know, the ceiling isn't gonna fall on his head, and the sheetrock way up above is fireproofed again. That's what the work we did way up on the far ceiling
Okay.
was to fireproof, because
Yeah.
that had opened up some places like that. And what they were trying to solve there was the fireproof to keep from the ceiling, from the roof.
Yeah,
Because then the roof, you know, if you ever had a fire and you don't stop the fire, that metal roof is gonna melt like tissue paper.
yeah, yeah,
You know, but, you know, I would have somebody look at the structural thing a little
We did.
deeper up there.
we did. We had an engineer look at it.
You know, so either they overlook back, and that's one, I don't know what corner, whatever, the office got the corner door in next to yours, right? There is a real structural problem there, you know, that should be addressed.
All right, you got any questions, Asha?
No,
comments?
so, you said about a scratch on a truck, you will take care, you're
Yeah,
going
I'll
to tell
just,
your
I'll
insurance
get, just give me
company.
an estimate and send it to me.
And the
Or
s-
you can, and I'll just take it to the insurance company.
Okay,
I ain't fighting over it. I pay
Yeah.
20 grand a year, they never pay anything, so they ain't gonna argue about a scratch, you know?
and the scratch about a desk, you said there were too many papers, so you think you
I
couldn't
don't
have
think at all,
caused that?
you know, it's like this,
Because
you
you
know, there's
didn't-
scratches
yeah.
all over this, you
Yeah.
know? But there was, you know,
That
it's
was
like if I set
covered of
it here
paper.
on this, you
Okay.
know?
And the last thing, it's a new thing, I didn't know about it, you just brought it in. You going to look at that,
Yeah, I'm
fix
gonna,
that?
well, I'll look at them
If
both
there is
right now.
something,
and
yeah.
If it's something I can't fix right now, I'll send somebody back tomorrow.
Okay.
They're 2 5-minute details.
But can he take a look at it, because you said something, you wanted to go in and you were denied
Well,
access?
see, if he isn't there, I guess we can't get in his office. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
if you're going over there when you leave here, I'll follow you right
So,
over there.
yeah,
and take a
maybe you
look at
can
it,
go
know, 'cause
now.
Usually, I went through all the other rooms before we left, you know, to make sure everything was okay, but he wasn't there, so him and that other corner officer, I never saw again. I could, left my wallet there and I wouldn't know, because I couldn't get in there to see it.
You got all your
Okay.
questions answered?
Yes, I see some of the pictures, but I think I have to come to the jail too.
You got any questions?
Yeah, I
Let's
just
see
wanted to
that.
know, on this fix that you did, how long is it guaranteed for?
Guaranteed, you know, as far as the cosmetic part, if the building moves and tears it apart again, there's nothing I can do about that, you know what I mean? I didn't fix the structural problem. That's why I'm saying, it'll probably happen again. But a little further down the road, because it's gonna move some more. If that corner opens up, you know, that's nothing I can, you know what I mean?
I understand. Yep.
You know, I kind of painted and taped it over, but the corner's still afloat.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know, you got 30-foot precast panels up there with nothing holding them,
mm-hmm.
you know.
All right, so
Thank
the
you.
two of you can work it out? You gonna have your office open so he can look at
Yeah,
it?
he's
Can
gonna
look
follow
at
them
that
over.
thing there, that new thing what you
But that's, that's the thing, that's why I'm telling you, you know, now, as far as my work, if something, you know, the rubber base comes off in and guaranteed for a year, 100%, you won't have to, no argument with me.
Okay,
All you gotta do is let me know and I'll let somebody there the next day, you know.
okay, all right,
You know.
great. Well, we appreciate your cooperation.
But as far as it happening again with the problem you got now,
Mhm.
that I can almost guarantee it will.
Have you ever seen anything like it before?
Well, I've seen some stuff worse than that. I've seen
Worse
roofs
than that.
fall in. I've been in this for 40-some odd years, but the biggest thing on any building, you do a building, a good clerk of the works.
Yeah,
If you gotta pay them $100 grand a year, it'll save you $500.
okay,
Because if an architect comes in and inspects once a week or once a month, when the requisition comes in, he don't see nothing,
yeah,
you know? And, you know, he can't see it. It's already buried,
all right.
okay?
Take
Yeah.
care of it, do the
Okay.
best you can, and let us know next week what's the status, okay?
Thank you
Jason?
so much for your time and coming
Thank you.
into public to discuss
You're
it.
welcome.
Do you want me to leave this with you, Commissioners?
What is this, the pictures?
The pictures in the letter, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
All right, Chris, Chris, you want non-public? Okay. Before we do that, then, any quick public comments? We'll open it up for comments right now. Go ahead.
I got a couple. So I was just kind of confused about the screws and the putty or whatever it was on the wall that didn't cure. Can you guys explain
That wasn't taken care of under that one. That will be talked about in non-public.
Okay.
The screws were, in his work, some of them were hidden, and as he said, he had to put in a larger screw, which is in one of those pictures.
But the purpose of the screw was to hold the wall.
No, it had nothing to do with holding the wall. It had to do with holding on, the material that was to help with the expansion and contraction okay, of the wall and the rest of the building.
The other question I had, regards to the impound yard,
Yep,
do you think it's possible to call we got about a half hour before the delegation meets, do you have any plans to call them and see if they can squeeze it in?
no,
No.
they said at the meeting they wouldn't make any major changes. The only thing they could do, because it's $1 in that line item, we could shift some money, but we can't shift it from one department to the other without their approval. We can shift it within the line items within that department. But we're not gonna have money in that department to do the whole thing. So it's gonna be on hold, at least for another year. Okay? Any other comment? Public comment? Yes?
Who put up the RFP for the IT?
That was approved and went through the IT committee, which is made up of all members of each department.
Is Mr. Rich on the IT committee?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes or no?
I don't know
Yeah,
who's on
yes,
it.
he is on it.
She knows?
I went to the IT
Yep.
meetings, only they didn't invite me when they're going to write the RFP. I was waiting for that so I could observe or have some input. I didn't know it was just done. By email it was done, like he said.
Is that a best management practice to have someone who is going to be possibly, which in fact has, put in a bid to be on the IT committee to write up an RFP? Does that even make sense?
Well, it does to me because they got department heads that use the equipment was on that IT committee. And there were a number of them. There's 11 on that committee?
No,
But
not that
I'm
many.
referring to the gentleman who put in a bid.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think it's a conflict of interest, being on the IT committee and know all the servers, everything what we have here, see what we have here and just write the proposal.
Well, if you think that makes good management practices, Mr. Chairman, then can you explain this to me? Number 11, provide at no additional cost as part of overall contract price and install all replacement parts needed to repair or restore any equipment to working order. This may include outright replacement of the item in question.
Okay? Yeah?
That clearly that's a deal breaker to any company that would be even interested in putting a bid. Seriously? You don't have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with this because every company bid on the same thing.
But
No
that's-
matter who wrote it up, every company had a chance to bid on this.
Did any company, any correspondence from any other company?
Any correspondence?
Any correspondence?
We had 2 phone calls that was mentioned in the first go-around.
Commissioner Kenny, is there any correspondence? Did you receive any correspondence from any companies that didn't put a bid on this RFP?
Yeah, I have received several.
You
Yes.
have?
Yes.
Do you have those with you?
It's by email, so.
Well, I'm just curious because, I mean, to me, that's a deal breaker and that's clear, I mean, that clear to me shows that that is trying to steer the bid because no one in their right mind and business would accept something like that.
They,
Really wanted them.
apparently somebody bid on it. The IT committee wanted it,
4 people bid
and
on it.
4 people bid on it,
So now these 4 people, or the winning person, is gonna have to replace, outright replacement of the item in question.
if,
Am I the only one who's
Yes.
having a problem? No, I'm not the only,
no, wait a minute.
okay?
Wait a minute.
No.
No.
Tell her to wait a minute.
Wait a minute. you've got the floor, I've answered your question.
No, you haven't.
Do you have, I told you that they all had the same specifications to bid on.
But this is from the guy who bid.
I don't care where it comes from, it came from the IT committee, they reviewed it, they said, this is what we need.
I think the best way that we had to go with the IT, put out a bid and one day to invite all the companies to come look at all the equipment and the servers. And then we have another day that every company get the opportunity to give a presentation so they can write a good, accurate proposal. And then we get all the bids and open it.
Because it was reported
Wait a
by
minute.
the commission.
That is the right way to go.
You don't have the floor, you don't have the floor,
You just
she was
said I
talking.
did.
Ed, you got the floor.
That is, okay.
I think the issue is if an observer looks at the RFP and it gives specifics like replacing everything
Yeah,
in it. Now, most tech companies, and you can ask some of these people here who have tech companies, would never be able to offer that as an option on a bid. So if the person from Cybertron was asked to make a list of the items of equipment that he has, I think that would be proper because he knows what equipment he has. But if the specifics of allowing people to, allowing the tech company to fix and replace all broken equipment, there's no way a company could afford to do that. So it appears as though that this would only be open to one person, which is Cybertron.
How-
I'm just saying that's what it appears to look like.
my question would be, how could Cybertron afford to pay for it?
He already
He's
replaced a lot
made
of
the
things.
investment. It could appear as he's already made the investment over the years he's been here, updating all the equipment, putting his money into the system. So therefore, if he stays on and just maintains what he already accomplished, he could probably give you a better bid. I'm just saying, it appears as though this looks like it has been fashioned so it fits into Cybertron's
David.
favor. It appears that way. Like I said, if he makes a list and says, this is the list of the RFP, this is the equipment that we have, and he lists it, that's fine, because he'd be the only one to know that.
Is it
But
about equipment or
those
is it
specifics-
about- Excuse me. Is it about equipment or was it about that incident where there was a charge of $350 put in something that was purchased and he was just putting in and charging for that and that was
I don't-
to get away?
I don't know, don't.
Okay.
Point of order. Could we ask one of our bidders here if
No,
their take on it?
That would be unfair,
no.
I think.
It's unfair around, but that's okay, stay the bid.
Mr. Brown, if you,
Commissioner Solomon,
if you
Okay.
have a problem with what we are doing here, please take it to the Attorney General. That is all I'm asking. I have no problem answering questions from the Attorney General.
yeah, sure.
I will ask the people here just one question. Did you have a chance to read through these specifications?
Yes,
And did you understand all of them?
yes,
Okay. And you bid on these, on this,
correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any further public comment? One more, Mr. Brown, go ahead.
March 14th.
We still on this contract?
No, this is something else.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
March 14th. Once again, I don't know how many months or years it's gonna take to do simple minutes, but apparently you commissioners just love the minutes. Well, on March 14th, there was discussion between Commissioner Solomon and Commissioner Kenny. At which point Commissioner Solomon stated, "This is how we do it in this country." And I would like to know what Commissioner Solomon was referring to when she said that to Commissioner Kenny. Because that looks like a racist remark, and no one in this, we people in the county don't have to tolerate that.
Okay.
And now I'd like to know, does Commissioner Kenny get an attorney, and does Commissioner Kenny get a settlement? Or is she not in the clique?
I haven't seen any grievance. No action's gonna be taken until there's a grievance, if there is a grievance.
Well,
Okay.
the county shouldn't have to put up with these racial remarks
I
from
think,
any of you.
I don't think it was meant, my personal feeling, I don't think it was meant racial at all.
How we do
Was-
this in this country to Commissioner Kenny? I seriously, Mr. Chairman, please don't try to
It
go down
was
that road
racial.
with me.
What's
It was a racial comment.
Okay.
And the people of Carroll County shouldn't have to put up with that, and I believe Commissioner Solomon owes the people of the county an apology, and she owes Commissioner Kenny an apology, and she should reduce that to writing.
Okay, that's your thoughts. Any further public comment? Hearing none,
I get those other copies, so I
let's see,
don't have
where
to
are
make
we?
more copies.
We've got to,
I know, I have to give them out, I have
Yes,
to make
Ed?
more copies, so if I can
I
just
did have
have
a
those,
suggestion about
so
the
I don't have to
impound
make more
guard.
copies.
yep,
We still have a problem with possible tampering of vehicles that are left in the field.
correct.
Instead of doing nothing for a year, if we only have 3 or 4 vehicles, could they just be moved into the parking lot where there is a camera on them? Just so there's some, because if you do nothing and somebody tampers with it, you may lose a case.
That's right.
But if you at least move it in front of the camera, then at least you've done due diligence to protect it. And it wouldn't be hard to move them just from there to over here.
We'll take that under consideration. That's a good possibility.
May
We
I-
move things out of the parking lot so it's easier to plow. That's why we moved the trailers over there. But that's something we can look at. Yeah, thank you. Damon, you had,
Just a quick one. Should I hang around? Because I want to know who the bids get awarded to. Is that happening today, or is the IT committee going to take a day or two to?
I don't know what the IT committee is going to do. They're going to look at all the bids. Where, did she leave? Okay.
I asked her for those other copies,
You just sign that, and then that's okay. I can't tell you. We need to take action on the bids because the contract runs out on Sunday, and should the dispatch center go down on Monday and we don't have a contract, it's gonna be a problem, a major problem.
And what are any announcements following the non-public about the report from Mr.
O'Meara?
O'Meara, yes.
Any comments? What's gonna happen is that report is gonna be held, it's gonna go to the county attorney to see what can be released, what can be blackened out, and that's gonna be worked out between the sheriff, the county attorney, and Jason, okay? But some of it will be released. Where there are names or security breaches in that report, that will not be made public. We'll make as much as we can public,
Great, thank you.
okay? All right. We need to handle,
Before we do,
yep,
I do have to make a comment.
okay.
What I said to Commissioner Kenny was in response to a question she asked me. I had made a correction on her minutes where she had a comma instead of a period to indicate money. What I said was not certainly a racial incident, since it has nothing to do with race, but merely has to do with how we conventionally do things in this country. And I recognize that she does not, and has not, this is not the country of her origin. So I merely said that in this country, we use a period to show money, not a comma. That is not racial.
Okay. We need to decide how we're gotta go into non-public session for Chris's report, but we also need to look at how we're going to select those 4 companies that Commissioner Asher, Commissioner Kenny and I reduce the 8 or 10 bids down to 4, and we need to act on those, and that's gonna go to the